Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. We're going to get our live career Q&A started in a second. Just going to make sure I'm getting everything set up over here. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. And welcome, welcome. We are going to get started in a second. We are streaming across LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube, and it looks like things are just loading up over here. So I'm going to give a quick grace period to get that going. And we should be ready to start very soon. So just hang tight. Great to see you all here. I see some familiar faces trickling in. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, amazing. And please feel free to say hi in the chat where you're joining us from. I know we have some beautiful faces over from Instagram from what I can see. We can hear you and the video is working fine. Thank you so much, Savage3. I really appreciate the confirmation. I'm just going to make sure we are live also over on LinkedIn. We are good and ready to rock and roll. We are live on YouTube. Everyone, please feel free to join us from whichever platform is best for you. I should see all the questions coming through in my main hub. So I want you to feel really comfortable. If there's a certain platform you feel more at ease in sharing questions with me, please feel free to do so. We are streaming across Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube right now. And just want to wish you all a happy Friday. If this is your first time joining me for a live career Q&A, I try to do these every Friday with you guys to get your burning questions answered and make sure that you are best supported in a really practical way. If you are new here, my name is Tiffany. I'm a former L'Oreal executive turned career coach, and I really love supporting incredible women in corporate to land better roles, achieve faster promotions, communicate with confidence, do all of that while earning more money along the way and through very much practical guidance and expertise that simply works. So if that feels like something you could use a little bit more of right now in your career, well, you are definitely where you need to be. Normally, I like to keep these pretty informal to take any questions that are coming through that are really top of mind for you right now. And as you're thinking about that, please let me know already, maybe in the chat, what is the number one challenge or struggle that you're dealing with right now in your career that you'd probably need a little bit more support on? This is really a safe space. I want to make sure that we are supporting you in those goals. And I think it's a pretty timely topic because we are quite literally halfway through 2025. I can't believe it. It's also why I'm actually doing this live a little earlier today because it's my son's last day of school. So trying to just work the schedule a little bit differently for this Friday. Normally I go live closer to like 12 or 1 p.m. Eastern time, but we're doing it a little bit earlier. So thank you for our early risers for joining me here today. But yeah, I cannot believe that the year is flowing by. And I want to make sure that you have everything you need to set yourself up well for the rest of this year. Perhaps you're not where you hope to be by now, or you're still dealing with a challenge that maybe a toxic boss or workplace that's been really, really eating away at your confidence. I'm sorry, I think there's something in my eye, so we're just going to go ahead and fix that. Maybe you're just feeling like stuck or lacking clarity of what comes next for you. We want to make sure that we clear those challenges away so that you could bring your best self forward. And if you are new here or you're not part of it already, please be sure to join my weekly newsletter because every week I'm publishing this 2 times every week on Mondays and Fridays with practical tips and scripts and strategies that just work. And it's just going to help you level up so much. We get a ton of positive feedback from my weekly newsletter. So if you are joining me over on Instagram right now, just comment learn on today's live, comment learn, and I will send you the details to join us there. And I'll even send you my 50 best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. You're going to love it. It's helped thousands of women, and you need to get your hands on that as soon as possible. And if you're joining me over on LinkedIn, just head over to my link in bio. You can join us right there really easily. And same thing with YouTube. You'll see the link in the description, but also head over either to my website or LinkedIn. It's really easy to find. Okay, I see a comment here coming through from Instagram around getting a promotion in my current seat and getting a raise. So I imagine for you, Selma, that might be a bit of the challenge area that you're trying to do. And I'm so glad you brought that forward because this is such a critical moment in the year to double down. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see women make is we feel like Summer's coming. I'm just going to kind of take a seat back and resume in the fall and hope that my promotion goes through. But the problem with that is that you're losing incredible momentum to already get ahead of the curve. And this is exactly what we support our clients on every day, to maximize every moment, including these critical months coming up right now, so that by the time those promotion decisions are happening, you're already at the top of the list. So I don't have the full context for you, Selma, as to where your challenge has been in getting that promotion, but I'm going to share a few key pointers here that are going to help you. First and foremost, lead that conversation with your boss. Whether you have formal mid-year reviews or not, it doesn't really matter. You want to really showcase, number one, your evolution in your role from when you got into that role to where you're at now, to show the growth and impact that you've created that will support your next step in terms of that promotion. So we're going to talk a little bit about the historic of what you've done, how you've done it, and the results that it's brought as it ties to the objectives that you're being evaluated against. We want to be as quantitative as possible. You want to be as impactful as possible, and please do not diminish your wins. I know sometimes we have a tendency of feeling like, well, that's just part of my job, or it's not really a big deal, when in reality it is. And your boss doesn't know what they don't know. So we need to lead those conversations. The second piece that you're going to want to do is be very explicit about your next steps and your goals and timeline around that, and get their alignment around that plan. So, for example, this could sound something like, based on what I've just shared and this evolution I've demonstrated in my role over the past 9 months, I would very much like your support in securing my next promotion within the company. Ideally, that would be, achieved by, the next 2 months or by September. And I'd like to work on a really clear plan if there's anything outstanding that I should be demonstrating to solidify my candidacy for that. So now, again, you're being very explicit in what you want. You're getting the support from your boss to fill in any gaps around what might be outstanding there. And you're giving yourself enough runway to secure that promotion. And the beauty of asking it like this, Alma, is that you're not actually getting like vague answers. You're getting very specific, actionable feedback that you can actually use to your advantage, and then close that gap and hold them accountable. I think the most frustrating thing when anyone asks for promotions or raises is getting surface level feedback, or feeling like the goalpost keeps moving. Feedback like, keep doing what you're doing, or I still need to see more of this from you, or here's a new thing that you have to action. And it feels like you're just constantly chasing this promotion that's never going to happen. So the more specific and direct we can be in our asks, the better. And then the third piece, Selma, that you're going to do is have very consistent follow-ups. So you don't want to just have this conversation and then hope for the best, and then September rolls around and you didn't get that promotion. You want to have follow-ups that show that you're tracking this and that you're progressing on the things that were discussed, so that you're consistently closing those gaps. This is something we work really heavily on with our clients, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of nuance here depending on the context of your company, certain internal things that might be going on, or different relationships that you're navigating. Okay. But that is a 3-part structure I highly recommend. And I'm going to give you a bonus tip because it's one that is often overlooked and keeps you stuck in your roles longer than you should be. Okay. I'm actually going to give you 2 because I'm feeling really good today and excited about having you guys here join for this fun Career Live Q&A. So please keep the questions coming. But I'm going to give you, Selma, 2 bonus tips to get closer to that promotion and raise. The first is, make sure you have the support from other decision makers involved in that decision. We often put a lot of emphasis on our boss because they're the one directly evaluating us. But please know that there are other people, other important decision makers in your company who are evaluating your readiness for that next step. This could be your boss's boss. This could be VPs. This could be leaders from other departments. It could be your C-level executives. So I would really encourage you to make sure you have one-on-one relationships with those decision makers where they hear from you directly, where they can build their impression of you directly. And it's not just through your boss's words or their behaviors, right? You want to be in the driver's seat here. And that could be in the form of quick coffee chats, check-ins, follow-ups from meetings that you're part of with them, using that as a gateway of what you appreciate and what they've shared, and then using it as a segue of the elevation you're having in your role and how you're excited to take on more responsibility and a bigger mandate within the company. And so you're getting that support, you're getting that alignment, you're getting their feedback and input too. So that's a little mini mission I have for you, Selma, and anyone else who's going through this, who's looking to really secure that promotion and raise in a short amount of time. The other pro tip I have for you here, Selma, is a risk I see a lot of amazing women fall into, which is becoming too invaluable in your role. Meaning that if you've been in your role for a certain period of time and you're really good at it, it almost can feel like a hassle to move you into your next promotion than to keep you where you already are. And so, to help you with that, you already want to be thinking a few steps ahead in terms of transition plan. This is where you can be offering guidance as something like, as I prepare for this next promotion in the company, I recognize that there's a need for my own transition plan. And here's what I'm already thinking that can support me in that. And you can share suggestions and recommendations. So it doesn't have to be like a flushed out plan altogether, but you're already going to be helping your boss help make the decision that it's okay to move you outside of your current role into your promoted role, right? Especially if it's outside of your immediate team, right? Maybe this is in a different team. Maybe it's not just like a step up from your current role in your existing team. So, all the more important to already be thinking about that transition plan. So I hope that's helpful for you, Selma. You let me know if you have any follow-up questions on this. But if you do want to really hit the ground running and make the most of the rest of this year, I would even encourage you to book a call with me. You could actually just comment call since you're joining me from Instagram right now. And I'm going to share the details to book a call with me. And on that call, we're actually going to run through my proprietary Career Growth Accelerator scorecard, which is so enlightening for anyone that goes through this. It's going to show you really clearly where your growth gaps are and what's holding you back right now. And together on our call, I'm going to help you figure out where we need to fix that, which levers are going to be most important for you. And we're going to map out that fastest path forward. So today's probably giving you a little bit of taste of what you would probably need to work on, but I'd love to see a more deep dive view into what's kind of preventing you from securing that promotion and raise and how we can fix that together. So just go ahead and comment call on today's live on Instagram, and I'd be happy to share that with you. And of course, anyone that's joining us on Instagram right now, just comment call if you are a woman working in corporate and you are looking to level up, you want to land a better role, you want to make a transition somewhere else, you want to level up in your communication and executive presence, please book that call with me because, like I said, you'll be able to get access to my proprietary Career Growth Accelerator scorecard. You'll see very quantitatively where your growth gaps are. And together on that call, I'm going to help map out which levers you need to fix that so that you get ahead a lot faster this year. Okay, we'll have a lot of fun with that. Okay, fantastic. So, Selma, let me know if that's helpful for you. If you have any follow ups on that, I love these questions already coming through. Okay, wonderful. Let me see here. I've got a few others. I'm keeping an eye over here on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. Thank you, everyone, also for joining us. Okay, so I have another one coming through on Instagram. Then I'm going to come to some that I'm seeing over on LinkedIn as well. And if this is again your first time joining us for my live career Q&A, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. I try to do these every Friday with you, normally around 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern time. But because it is my son's last day of school today, we are switching around the schedule a little bit to do it earlier. So glad you're able to still join us. And we like to keep these really informal. So we are, look, halfway through the year right now. Time is moving. If you feel like you're not where you hope to be, you're stuck, you know you deserve more, you want to achieve a certain goal that you've been struggling with on your own, like this is exactly what I want to cover with you today. So please don't be shy in bringing those questions forward so I can give you really practical guidance to help you in that. And of course, if you're not already part of my weekly newsletter, you need to be. It is so helpful. I publish it 2 times every week. If you're joining us from LinkedIn, just go ahead to my link in bio after this and sign up. I'm going to send you also my 50 best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. If you're joining us over on Instagram, just comment learn and I will send that your way so that you can sign up and join us there too. And from YouTube, you'll also see that in my description and link in bios there, or head over to LinkedIn if that's easier for you too. All right, so I'm just going to scroll back up because I think I got another question here. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. Wonderful. What a great group we have today. Okay, so I have a question from, I think it was from Foles87. As you get promoted, you'll be provided with challenges that you have no clue about where to start to handle, area you're not an expert on. Ooh, I like that. Yes. So essentially, every level of growth that you have is going to feel very uncomfortable. That's actually a good thing because it means that it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. And so when you are feeling like you're being thrown new challenges, here's the best thing that you can do, Thals, to get ramped up faster in that learning curve without minimizing your credibility. There's going to be two things. The first is play to your own strengths and the areas of expertise that you do have in that role, because that's going to help you feel confident early on, even if there's certain things that you're being thrown your way that you're not as familiar with. So we want to solidify the things that you do know and that you're good at so you can get some quick wins under your belt already in that role. Then the second thing you're going to do that will help offset some of the areas that you feel less comfortable with or that are new and you're like, oh gosh, where do I even start? You're going to build your circle of advocates and resource within your team or even extended team. What I mean is there's likely people that you're working with that have knowledge and know-how that can help complement the expertise that you have in your own role, right? And you're going to lean on these people to help fill in some of those knowledge gaps or areas of focus, if you will, so that you can learn from them and get ramped up a little bit faster. Right. So maybe, for example, there's a team member that you have that has their own responsibilities, but has some exposure to one of the things that you're expected to take on. You can set meetings with this individual, try to get a better understanding of how they work with that. What does that look like? What would be some of the non negotiables that you would need to know sooner than later to already get familiar with that space? So you're seeing what I'm doing here. I'm asking a lot of very intentional questions so that you can learn from these other resources and get your learning curve ramped up a lot faster. There might also be a need for you to ask your boss or support teams around trainings or documentation or some types of like shadowing where you can actually be with others and learn from them in real time so that you can get ramped up. Okay. So that's going to be another thing that you can do in that type of category of learning areas that you're not an expert on. And I will also add here, Thals, that I don't think it's normally an expectation to be an expert on things right out of the gate in a new role if it's areas that are new to you. But what is expected is that you are taking charge and initiative and being resourceful. So you don't want to come in being like, I have no clue how to do this. I don't know how to do it. And then just expect people to fill in those gaps for you. You want to show, okay, here's what I do know. I recognize that this is an area that I probably need more support on. Let me now see who can help me learn those areas. What questions can I ask? What are some mini experiments or projects that I can take on to start learning? And before you know it, that learning curve is going to ramp up a lot faster for you, but you have to start. And that's where it balances well with the first piece of playing to your strengths. Because if you're only focusing on the areas that you don't have that expertise in right away, it can actually diminish your credibility a lot in your new role and lead you to feel a lot less confident. So it has to be this balance. But just please know that it's really normal to feel a little unsettled or uncomfortable in a new role as there's new things you have to learn. That's just like the name of the game, right? And again, this is something we support our clients on a lot, those in their new roles, because I can tell you when you know what to do and how to do it with the right strategies and you're building a lot of great relationships out of the gate, it helps you so much, not just in getting promoted faster and accelerating your path within the company, but it really builds your brand, your personal brand, your visibility, your exposure, and meaningful relationships with those that you're going to be working closely with. Okay, so I could go a lot deeper on that, but hopefully that already gives you some good guidance there of how to approach that a little bit better. Okay, I see a question also coming over here from LinkedIn from Tufik. Thanks so much for joining, Tufik. Great to have you here. The question is struggling to move out of the comfort zone, how to be more confident and move on with new challenges. Oh, I love this. Okay, so it's kind of a nice segue from the question I just took from Thals over on Instagram. So, how to move out of your comfort zone? Well, please know this is like something I just will shout from the rooftops any chance I get to not confuse inexperience with inability. Okay? Don't confuse inexperience with inability. What I mean, Tufik, is that if you haven't done something yet, right? So that's inexperience in an area. It doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing it and doing it really well. You just haven't done it yet. right? So you have to give yourself the chance to do that and give yourself kind of grace in knowing that that's going to feel uncomfortable. But similar to what I was just sharing with Thals, is you're going to want to play to your strengths in those moments of change. Lean on what helps you show up as your best so that you feel really grounded in that. But also to the other piece of your question of how to be more confident and move on with new challenges, a few things. First, try to remind yourself of times when you felt this in the past because we've all been there. We've all been through moments where we felt uncomfortable in growth and you pushed through. You got through the other end. So try to think back to those moments and remind yourself that you've done this before and this is just another level of growth that requires you to become a certain version of yourself, right? It's that classic what got you here won't get you there. So you want to make sure that you are leveling up in the right way. And so reminding yourself of times in the past where you've actually been in that kind of situation and now it might feel like distant because you're like, "Oh, I almost forgot about that because this is so second nature to me now." But when you actually really take a moment to think about it and realize, "Oh, no, I actually did feel that way in the past." And what were some of the things that helped you in that time? Already just tapping into your own prior experience is a great starting point. Okay. I think in terms of moving on with new challenges, you want to get a little bit more reflective here in terms of what are some of the strengths and transversal skills that you have coming into these new challenges that still very much apply. Maybe the nature of the role is different. Maybe the company is different. Maybe the level of seniority is different. That's okay. But what are the things that you still have innately in you? Your strengths, your competencies, your wins, your differentiators, if you will, that you can bring into this new role, into this new challenge that will still serve you really well. There's going to be new things you have to learn. That's like, again, the name of the game. But you want to focus on the things that create that foundation for you to feel more confident out of the gate. And perhaps the last tip here that I have for you, Tufik, and I may be picking it up from your question, is we often have limiting beliefs that come up, these mental blockers that might make you feel like you're not ready for a next step or that you're not confident enough for a next step. And so I really want you to challenge those limiting beliefs as to why they're not necessarily true. Try to prove yourself wrong with concrete examples of how you've pushed through these types of beliefs in the past, right? Because a lot of the proof is already there. We just need a reframe. And always happy to share more on that for you, Tufik. But I think it's very exciting if you have this new challenge ahead of you and think of it more as an opportunity for learning and growth. And similar to what I just shared with Thals, you don't have to know everything off the bat. Like that is a pretty unrealistic expectation. But what you do need to know is how to be resourceful, how to ask the right questions, how to show your proactivity and initiative to ramp up in a learning curve as quickly as possible. Those types of qualities are going to go a long way for you. And before you know it, you're going to be looking back at that new challenge feeling like, wow, to think I felt like so unsettled at the beginning and now it just feels so good for me. You're going to feel like a very, very different type of mindset around that. So I hope that's helpful for you as well as you're thinking about this next challenge and how to really go about it with confidence. Just know that that confidence is going to build, but you have to be courageous. You have to take that leap and go for it, even if it feels uncomfortable. And then that way you can reap the full reward from doubling down in a new direction that can be very rewarding for you. So you've got this. Very excited for you. Please keep me posted how that goes. I'm going to keep going here, make sure I'm not missing any questions, but you guys are on fire today. I love these questions coming through. Again, if you are just joining us now or this is your first time joining me for our Friday Career Live Q&As, welcome. My name is Tiffany. I'm a former L'Oreal exec turned career coach, and I love empowering women in corporate to land better roles, faster promotions, communicate and lead with confidence, and earn more money along the way without the guesswork. We're all about practical guidance here. So everything that I'm sharing is based off of proven experience, not only for myself and my teams, but also for our incredible clients that we get to support every day to become the best version of themselves in their career. And I will say, this is such an important moment to do this. And thank you for showing up with me here today because we have half the year gone and half the year to go. You get to decide right now how you want that to play out for you. Are you going to take action and do the things that are going to drive your growth? Or are you going to look back regretting that you're still stuck in the same spot? So showing up with me here live every week is just a great testament to you and committing to your growth, which I love to see. And if you want to take that to that next level and you are a woman in corporate that is looking to level up and really take control of your career in a much more effective way, I would love to chat with you. You could actually just comment call right on Instagram right now in this live, and I will share the link to book a call with me. On that call, we'll run through my proprietary career growth accelerator scorecard to identify your growth gaps that are hurting you and holding you back right now. And I will map out your fastest path forward and the right levers to use. If you are joining me over on LinkedIn, you could absolutely still book that call with me there too. You just have to go to my LinkedIn profile, scroll down a little bit in my featured section, and you'll see the link there. And similarly on YouTube, you'll see that in my main description where you can book that session with me as well. All right, I see some other questions coming through here from our folks on Instagram. One is on how to handle a micromanager. Oh, yeah. I was actually just supporting a few of our members with this in my client community this week. So, a few thoughts on micromanagers. Please know that there's kind of two types of micromanagers. There's the micromanagers who I would qualify as more toxic in their behaviors, that can actually really get in the way of your growth. But then there's also the types of micromanagers that don't actually have a malintent. They're not necessarily trying to make your life harder. They just have a really hard time releasing control. Okay. And normally, micromanagers are coming from a place of control where they either fear losing that control or it's lacking trust that others can do things the way that they need them to do. Okay. And so you can let me know, Savrisi, if that's kind of one category or the other that your possible micromanager is falling into. But because most of the time it's coming from a place of control, I'm going to give you 3 quick tips that you can use to better manage them and handle them. Okay. The first is because it's often coming from a fear of control, you want to be able to communicate more proactively with them. So, this could be providing them more regular updates on the things that they want to be involved in, things that doesn't require them to be breathing down your neck, but where you can proactively update them more regularly. So if you feel like they're just all up in your space all the time, maybe you need to restructure what that communication flow looks like. That could maybe be something like having an update for them on a Monday of what you're going to be working through that week, giving them a midweek check in on Wednesday, and then another follow up on Friday. That way, at least you're starting to shift the momentum where you're leading those conversations and updates and not the other way around. And it will release their need to have to be on your case all the time. The second thing that you're going to want to do is try to get mini, whether you want to call them experiments or just like mini test under your belt to prove that they can put full trust in you. Okay. And that's going to help release the control. So, for example, maybe you have a major project that you're working on and your boss is just like super involved because they're like wanting to be in every little step. Maybe they will still want to be actively involved, but what you can do is actually propose to them saying, hey, look, I would really like to take more ownership in this. I understand that this is a project you want to be very involved in, and I completely appreciate that. At the same time, I would really like to take ownership and be able to take this to show that I can handle that on my own. What I would recommend is that I take on this first portion and lead that from start to finish and share back the results. And then from there, we can build on it further together. So now what you're doing is you're taking a part of the project to get alignment on that's less risky for your boss because it's just a portion of it. They're going to release some of that control for you, but it's going to allow you to actually go do your thing, prove to them that you can deliver high quality results, and that's going to build more trust. And when you have more trust with your micromanager, they're going to start releasing those reins. Okay. The third tip that I have in dealing with a micromanager is to position yourself as an ally to them. Okay. So because they care a lot about control and trust, you want to play to the things that matter to them most, that are top of mind. So, for example, if your micromanager is very, very cognizant of strong results or being perceived in a very positive light, you want to position yourself as an ally who can help them be viewed in that way. So, for example, you can share something like, I know that with our upcoming meeting with our leadership team, it's really important that we are viewed in X light or in this way. I would like to put this together and take the lead on that so that it comes through in that manner or that it comes through with that type of view or perception. And so now your micromanager is going to see you as someone who's actually trying to help them be perceived and viewed in the way that matters to them and to the team. And so it's a little bit of an interesting dynamic, but the more that you do that, the better. And I can tell you, this has worked very well for me and my own micromanagers that I've had in my career and our clients that we support. Because when you understand what's driving that micromanagement, you can actually handle it a lot more effectively. So definitely take those three and adopt that. It's going to help you a lot in dealing with this. Please let me know if you have any follow up questions on that. And of course, like I said, with my weekly newsletter, I'm covering a variety of different topics. We've had one recently around dealing with micromanagement. So if you're not already on my weekly newsletter, you need to be there. Just comment learn if you're joining us over on Instagram, and I will send you the link to join us. And I'll even share my 50 best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. If you're joining me over on LinkedIn, please be sure to just head to my link in bio and sign up there, and I'll send you those scripts as well. And if you're joining us over on YouTube, you can definitely access all of that from my description, or head over to my website or LinkedIn profile if that's easier. Okay. We have some great questions coming through here today. Thank you everyone for joining. This is so fun. I love closing out the week with you like this. I think I have a few other questions that I'm seeing trickling in. Okay, let me see here. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. There we go. Okay, I have one here from Ella. How often should you have a one-on-one with your manager? I have one every 3 months, but other staff have more often. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Ella, I don't know if you're referring to a one-on-one, like in terms of a career conversation, or a one-on-one in terms of like status meeting. So, I'm going to address both just since I don't have that full context here. Okay. So, if we are talking about a one-on-one in terms of statuses, like project updates, ongoing conversation, I actually recommend having those every week, because the beauty of doing that is you are taking control of your role, of your work, and able to provide your boss active updates of how things are moving along and where your progress is and where you need their input, support, buy-in, approval, all of that. So if those types of exchanges are far too infrequent, you're lacking visibility and exposure, first and foremost. But second, you're probably going to fall into a lot more blind spots that will hold you back in your growth goals, because your boss is not as in the know of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how it's impacting the company. If you're talking about one-on-ones with your manager in terms of growth conversations, I actually recommend a little bit more frequently than every 3 months, but generally you want to have one every quarter. So you're on the right track. But the beauty of it is when I talk about one every quarter, those are, let's say, more official or formalized conversations where you're really deep diving into your growth goals, what you've achieved, where you're at, a little bit what I was sharing earlier in today's live around closing the gap to your next promotion and raise in your company. You want that conversation to feel really ongoing. So, like, everyone is just like picking up from the last one, and it doesn't feel nerve wracking. You're just like, continuing to recap on what you've talked about, what you've actioned, how you've actioned it, and what's next. So you're constantly closing the gap towards your growth in the company. But then that also means that you can have more informalized conversations, which, by the way, ties into these like weekly statuses, right? Which is why those are so important, because every time you have those status meetings, it's a great moment that you're advocating for yourself. You're showing how you're taking ownership on your work. You're showing how you're moving the needle. You're showing where you're driving impact. You're showing how you're improving relationships. You're showing how you're leveling yourself up, right? So in my book, like every moment at work is a moment to be an advocate for yourself and to showcase that and have that continuity with your manager. And similar to what I shared with one of our questions earlier, please also don't underestimate the importance of having one-on-ones with people outside of your manager, other decision makers, right? Those could be your manager's manager. It could be leaders on other teams that you're working with. It could be VPs, etc. And the reason why those are important is because they also have a really big influence on your progression. So if they don't actually know you firsthand and you're not taking initiative on that, it can really backfire. And before you're thinking like, okay, but based off of like my level of seniority, like I don't really have that kind of face time with my CEO or my C-level team. You can absolutely still initiate that in a way that feels more organic. A quick example of that could be if, let's say, you're in a meeting where your C-level team is presenting, maybe you actually book a follow-up with one of those C-level leaders after that meeting to talk more about what you really took away from that meeting or their vision or their goals, and that you're really excited about supporting them more on that. This is something that's going to be very relevant for them because they've just presented about that. You're going to be positioning yourself as an ally and someone that's really keen on supporting them. And it's going to give you more visibility firsthand instead of relying on your boss to do that for you. So, those types of one on ones are precious. It's something we support our clients on, again, heavily, because I can't tell you how much that closes the gap to having promotions a lot faster. We see the results consistently with our clients that compared to people that we don't work with who at most will get maybe one promotion in like a 3-year time span. Or even if it's a promotion, it's not really like a real promotion. It's like more responsibilities, but with a really marginal salary growth. What we're seeing is anywhere from 3 to 4 promotions with significant income gains, anywhere from 30 to 50% raises at any one time within a 3-year time span. So the incremental money that you are making in your life is truly life changing. And it comes from implementing a lot of this with the right nuance for your company. So, again, if that's something that you are really keen to learn how to do and make sure that you're closing those growth gaps as fast as possible, please, Ella, take advantage, book me for a call. Just comment call on today's live, and I will send the details for you so you can book that. We'll even run through my Career Growth Accelerator scorecard, like I was mentioning earlier, where we will determine together what those growth gaps are. You're going to see it very quantitatively, which is like so enlightening when anyone does this with me. And then I'm going to help really map out which levers you need to reach those goals faster. But please have that consistency of one on one. Okay, it's for you to lead. If you're having trouble getting more FaceTime with your manager, I can help you with that as well. Often you need to be very clear of why you want more FaceTime, what's the benefit for that FaceTime, and what's in it for them. Please do not forget that third piece of what's in it for them because their time is precious. I don't know how many people your manager manages, but their time is probably strained. And so if you're going to have weekly time with them or bi-weekly time with them, you have to make it very clear of what's in it for them and how that support towards you will help them in the business. Okay, so give it a go. Really excited to hear how that turns out. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to keep scrolling. Oh, thanks, Carla. Wishing a great last day of school for my son. Yes, I know. Oh my gosh. I'm like a little emotional today. He's graduating grade 3. And so that's why we're doing today's live a little bit earlier than we normally do. So thank you everyone for joining us here. Normally I do my Friday lives closer to 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. And of course, if you have any questions that you have in mind, this is like a great place to bring them to keep it really informal and give you direct coaching support on that, and really support you through this. Okay, I'm seeing some more great questions coming through. This is fantastic. Let's keep it going, everyone. We'll see how many we can get through today. I see another question here from Ella. Is your course suitable for women in design engineering, very male-dominated field with gender challenges? Yes, absolutely. I can't tell you how many women we support, Ella, from technical functions in male-dominated environments. We have a lot in the tech space, so as you can imagine, very male dominated. And this is especially what they love about what we do because it helps you hold your own in those environments. It helps you own your voice, speak up, build your expertise, elevate your executive presence, and really hold your own in those environments, which is so important because your voice matters, your input matters, your expertise matters. So I would love to speak with you more. Please be sure to book that call with me. Just comment call and I'll send the details with you. I love that you're in design engineering. We work with a lot of females in engineering and different PM backgrounds, all of it. So yes, very well familiar and very much suitable for where you're at. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you a little bit more. Okay, fantastic. Let's see any other questions that are coming through. Please don't be shy, guys. Drop those questions in the chat wherever you're joining us from, over on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. I am scanning my different screens right now. So if you see me looking a little bit this way or that way, it's probably why. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any questions that are coming through. Let me just refresh this one here to make sure that I'm not missing any. Oh, thanks, Dr. Thomas Funky. He's saying if you made time to be here, make it count, ask something real, share something helpful, and connect with others. That's where the real value of live broadcast lives. Yes. Oh, I love that so much, Thomas. Thank you so much for sharing that. I couldn't agree more. That is so fantastic. And yes, these live moments together are precious, guys. I love doing this because I understand that there's a lot of information out there and it can feel super confusing. You might be hearing one source saying one thing, one source saying another. And I will say it's really easy to put up a content post, or even for some that might not be so easy, but it's one thing to do that and have that go behind a screen. It's another thing to be here together and talk through real challenges that you're going through. And I can tell you, we've seen everything under the sun. This is a safe space. Not only have I lived so much of this in my own career as a former L'Oreal exec, but we've just seen it from, every end of the spectrum with our members and clients. So please know you're in very good hands. And everything that I share and coach you on here is proven to work. It's not something that just sounds nice. That's ChatGPT. We don't do that here. This is proven practical guidance that works. So please do not be shy. I love getting your questions. I love seeing so many of you snagging my newsletter, signing up for it. You're going to be getting those 50 best scripts of mine to level up and get seen, heard, and promoted faster. So if you haven't already, comment learn over on Instagram and I'll send that your way. If you're over on LinkedIn, just go to my link in bio so that you can sign up for our newsletter and get my 50 best scripts to be seen, heard, and promoted faster. And same thing over from YouTube. Just be sure to head over to my description or even back over on my LinkedIn if that's easier. Okay. Let me see. So there are some inappropriate questions coming through, so I'm just going to scroll through those. Please do keep this professional, guys. This is something that's really meant to support you in your life and career, so I would recommend that we forego a little bit of the inappropriate comments and stay focused on things that are going to help you level up in your career. Okay, I see a few other here. Oh, happy Friday, friend. So nice to see you doing amazing things. Well, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Okay, how can we level up even after layoffs? Yes. Okay, so I think this is a really important one because these are things happening in real time. And I'm going to give you some guiding words here if you have faced a layoff or this is something that you might be feeling that this is coming up in your company. The first thing I want to say, and this is for Parallel Universe Seraria, I hope I'm pronouncing that well, is please be confident in what you have, in your skills, in your strengths, in your competencies, in your wins, because despite a layoff, that doesn't take any of that away from you. It doesn't take your strengths away. It doesn't take your relationships away. It doesn't take your competencies or wins away. Those are the things that you want to double down on to help transition to your next move and make sure are really clear in your narrative. So if I can give you some very practical guidance here, please document as much as you can those wins, those accomplishments, the relationships that you've established, the types of accolades that you've gotten, because that's going to, again, build your confidence in a time of transition like this. And it's going to help you in your narrative and your personal brand. So that way you can actually use that to your advantage in interviews, in networking conversations, and even on your LinkedIn engagement, as an example, right? So just know that this might be a time of transition for you, but it's a time to double down on what makes you you, what helps you stand out, and really own that narrative. The second piece of guidance I'm going to share in navigating a layoff and really feeling, confident despite that going on, or leveling up despite that going on, is really reinforce your relationships. There's a few things you can do here. First, get recommendations from people that you've worked with, that you have really good, really good relationships with, that understand your work ethic, that can speak to your accolades and achievements. And please try not to wait too much after the fact of a layoff to do that. If you have to, that's fine. But if you're still in the company or it's very recent, try to make those asks now. And I'm going to give you an example template right now of how you can do that. Okay. The best way to ask for a recommendation, and one that can go on your LinkedIn profile, is come from a place of gratitude and appreciation and then make your ask. So this could sound something like, hey, Michelle, I wanted to first off say how much I've appreciated working together over the last year and a half. I really get a sense from our dynamic that you've understood my work ethic and how I choose to show up to drive, great results within the company. I would love to have your voice represented over on my LinkedIn. It would mean so much to have that coming from you. Would you be opposed to writing me a brief recommendation? So something like that is a great template that you can use that comes from the heart, that feels authentic, that shows you appreciate the other person, and doesn't make it feel like a big ask. And you want to go to town on that and get as many recommendations as you can, because those are accolades. Those are testimonials that serve your candidacy for any next move you're going towards. And so when recruiters or hiring managers or people you're networking with come to your LinkedIn profile and they scroll down and they see all of these amazing testimonials about you, well, that just serves you well, right? And they're ones that you can reference in interviews and networking conversations too. And then I think the last piece I want to share here about leveling up after a layoff is please take the time to do some introspection, some clarity work. What's important for you? What matters more now than in the past? What do you want to double down on? What are things that you want to maybe do more of, less of? What do you need in terms of this next step of your career? Who are people you can look to as inspiration? Maybe you want to look at certain LinkedIn profiles of people in your target role or at your target company and gain inspiration from them and even network with them. So I could go on for hours on this, and maybe in our next live we'll talk more about specific networking strategies, because it's something we support our clients on a lot, and it's the number one strategy that's been helping them land their new roles within 8 weeks on average. And so, definitely a very powerful skill set. We have many of our members this week alone inside our client community who are landing offers, who have moved to final stage interviews, and who are just recently started their new jobs. And we are so excited for them. And networking has been a huge proponent of it. Some of them had prior layoffs that they were just in that transition mode and have bounced back so quickly. So, please know that what I'm sharing, it isn't just helpful, it works. And focusing on those 3 areas is going to help you a lot. Okay. Oh, hey, Andrew. Great to have you here. Thank you so much. Okay. We have another question here. I think we'll probably have time for a few more. So I'm going to try to squeeze in what I can. Let me just refresh over here on LinkedIn to make sure I'm not missing any that are coming through. Oh, Lucy, thanks for joining us over from LinkedIn. Very informative. You are most welcome. Okay, so over here from Instagram, we have Yasmin. How can I take back control of a meeting with several people and things that get too fired up and intense? I present in that meeting, but I'm not in charge of the entire meeting. Senior leaders attend. Okay, I love this. So, kind of how to bring things back on track in a meeting that's gone off on a little bit of a tangent or where people are voicing a lot of their opinions. So, I'm going to give you a proactive thing to do and then a reactive thing to do. A proactive thing, even if you're not leading the meeting, is having maybe some reinforcement of the agenda right at the beginning. So if maybe your boss is leading the meeting as an example, making sure that the agenda at the beginning is very clear of what needs to be covered and what needs to be decided on, or what is the outcome that you are looking to gain from that meeting. So that way, when you do the reactive piece I'm about to share, it actually makes a lot more sense. So the reactive part that you're going to share is you're going to jump in when there's a quick breath moment. Someone is sharing something and they're heated and they're excited. You want to acknowledge it. You don't want to dismiss it. I'm going to give you a template right now, but you want to jump in, you want to acknowledge it, and then bring it back on track by being cognizant of people's time and the outcome you're working towards. So this could sound something like, you know, John, that is such a good point, and I know there's a lot more that we can discuss about that. I do really want us to be cognizant, though, of the initial agenda that we've agreed to and the outcome that we're working towards today. I do worry if we spend too much time talking about this now, we might not be able to reach that goal by the end of the hour mark. Always happy to work out a separate meeting where we can go into more depth on that, but I want to be cognizant of everyone's time. I know that's really precious, and make sure we're achieving what we need to today. So, a template like that, it's very respectful. You're acknowledging John's commentary, but you're also being very respectful of people's time and reminding them that they might have lost track, that this can easily run over and then you won't even get to the outcome that you need in that meeting. And by the way, Yasmin, if this is helpful, you're going to quite literally love my 50 best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster at work. We cover so many different scenarios in that with direct scripts and templates that you can use and inspire from. And this is a very similar situation to one of the ones that I cover in there. So please be sure to comment learn since you're joining us over on LinkedIn right now to join my newsletter. And I'm going to be sharing those scripts with you today. And if you're joining us over on LinkedIn, please go ahead and join from my link in bio there. You'll be able to join our newsletter that is so practical and helpful, published 2 times every week, right to your inbox. And I'm also going to send you my 50 best scripts to get seen, heard, and promoted faster. So comment learn from Instagram, go to my link in bio on LinkedIn. And if you're joining from YouTube, head over to my description or just over on my LinkedIn if that's easier for you guys. Okay, fantastic questions. Um, okay, Ella's asking, is LinkedIn really essential? I don't have it. I will say yes. And here's why. If any of you are tuning in and you don't have LinkedIn, please get on that ASAP. And for a few reasons. One, this is like your digital footprint. And when it comes to growing faster, building visibility, building exposure, it's really hard to do that when people don't know you exist, right? And so LinkedIn is a way of building your own personal brand in a way that showcases who you are, what you do, the expertise that you have. It's great at building relationships. Some of my favorite relationships from the last 5 years alone have come through LinkedIn. Like people that I've met online and have formed deep relationships with, friendships with, collaborations with. There is so much power on that. My podcast, so many of our podcast guests have discovered me through my LinkedIn. People that I've welcomed in as amazing guest experts into my main program of Career Success Fast Track have come through LinkedIn. And we are actually in bonus enrollment this week for my Career Success Fast Track program. We only have 7 or even 6 spots left now before we close enrollment. And one of the incredible bonuses that is part of our bonus enrollment this week is our exclusive guest expert series with Angela Yang, who is the VP of Business Operations at NVIDIA. She is a powerhouse. She is in the inner circle of Jensen Huang. She is exclusively volunteering her time for our program and our members. You will not find this anywhere else. And it has already been mind blowing for our clients to be in the same room as Angela, from one of the fastest growing AI companies on the planet. And that is just one of a few incredible bonuses that we're offering right now, but are going to be expiring really soon. So, again, if you are at this point in your career where you're like, I want to level up, please take full advantage of this right now. Book a call with me, comment call right on the live right now on LinkedIn, and we can chat and see where your growth gaps are and work to fix that and possibly have you join us inside the program if it's a great fit both ways around. And if you're joining us on LinkedIn, again, please just go to my profile, scroll down a little bit in the featured section. You're going to be able to book that call with me and we can chat more. But yes, Ella, moral of my story, LinkedIn is essential. Please get on that. I think it's going to help you so much. If you need guidance on that, that's actually one of the key things we support our clients on in building LinkedIn, optimizing your profile, networking strategy, how to build that visibility and exposure there. So if you're like, where do I even start? You're in good hands, and we can definitely help you on that too. All right, guys. Wow. Fantastic. We've covered quite a bit. I'm going to see if I could take one last question before we round off for today. Okay. I think I'm going to take this last one here from Ritu, and then I think that should bring us to all of our questions from today's Q&A. This one is, I am close to my internal job posting and I got a client escalation. Now how to overcome from it and discuss with boss promotion. It's very embarrassing now. Okay. So if I'm understanding this well, Ritu, and then you're saying that you have like an internal role that you want that, but there was also a recent escalation that's maybe worked against your credibility a little bit, and you're trying to overcome that so that you can still discuss your promotion. So what I would recommend is first and foremost, take ownership. Okay. Show that maybe this was not one of your best moments at work, but it is not a representation of your skill set and your capabilities and your strengths. So you want to still ground that conversation around your promotion on the impact that you've created so that this one negative experience is outweighed by a lot of the positive. And that's your job to do, to highlight that so that it's just human nature. When something negative happens, we stay so obsessively focused on that it's hard to focus on the positive. So you need to bring that positive back to the forefront in terms of your growth, your evolution, your impact. Okay. And you're going to tie that to the promotion conversation. But for this one particular instance, you do want to take ownership on it and share, you recognize that this is something that happened and it wasn't one of your best moments. You recognize that, and here's what you're already doing to fix that or to avoid that or to not have that happen again. That shows that you have a growth mindset, that you're able to learn and bounce back from negative situations and not let it hold you back. But having that level of professional maturity here is critical. I know it's hard when we get feedback like this or when we feel like it's hurting our credibility, but please don't let that hold you back from things that you deserve and that you really want to go for. Okay. Having those conversations is going to be half the battle. So that's why I love giving you guys these really like practical scripts and templates that you can use. Please let me know if this is helpful for you, by the way. I'd love any feedback. Feel free to share over on LinkedIn or Instagram right now because I see that coming through in the chat. But let me know if this has been helpful for you today. And again, if knowing what to say in these critical moments, Ritu, is really important for you, please be sure you join my newsletter. Like I said, since you're from Instagram right now, just comment learn, and I'll be able to share the details to join my newsletter. And I'm also going to send you my amazing 50 scripts that will get you seen, heard, and promoted faster. I'll even share some of my best performing issues with you of my newsletter right off the bat, so you can get the ground running right away, or hit the ground running right away, I should say. But hopefully that's helpful for you too. Oh yeah, you are so welcome. Seeing a lot of thank yous coming through. Wonderful. I want to thank you all for joining me here today. What a dynamic group. Some great questions trickling in. This is the moment, guys, to take control of your career. Half of 2025 is over. I can't believe it. It's flown by. If you are at a point where you want to level up, you know you deserve better, you're feeling stuck, you're frustrated, you're dealing with a toxic workplace, you are wanting to build your executive presence and communication and just show up in the way that you deserve, like this is your call to action to do that. This is your time. Please take full advantage of what I share on these lives through my content. But I can't tell you how important it is to have that one-on-one coaching support that is going to take it to the next level a lot faster. That's what I do on a day-to-day with our amazing women that we get to support in our program. And like I said, we are in bonus enrollment right now. It's closing very soon. We're almost at our cap because we do provide such high touch support within our program. So we limit the amount of seats that we open at any one time. But if that's something that sparks your interest and you're like, okay, Tiffany, I've been following you for so long, I think now is like finally the time. It's so funny. We've had quite a few members join us recently who fell into that exact bucket, that had been following me over on Instagram or LinkedIn for months and some even years. And they're like, I don't know why I waited so long. I'm just so ready to take ownership and invest in myself. It's literally the best investment you can make. But please just book a call with me. Let's chat. Let's see where you're at. If you're joining from Instagram, please comment call, and I will send those details to set up that time together to chat. If you're joining from LinkedIn, please be sure to book that call over on my profile page. You just have to scroll down in my featured section to book that, or you can do it right from my website, whatever is easier, at tiffanyhuman.com. And I'm seeing only for women. So yes, our program is for women. That's where we focus. Of course, I have content overall that supports women and men, and you'll be able to get so much value from that. But my Career Success Fast Track program is primarily for women, very much at a mid stage into senior levels. That's where we see the biggest growth gaps and that are most important to fix, that will accelerate your curve of growth, of promotions, of money, of leadership, of confidence, of communication, all of it. So please take full advantage. Yeah, you can book the call. You can literally just comment call directly over on Instagram, and I will send those details. Again, we do support women within corporate. So if that is you looking to level up, please take advantage of that. And then also on LinkedIn, you'll be able to book it right from my LinkedIn page as well. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. This was so much fun. Join me back here next Friday. We should be back at about 12 p.m. for next week. Thank you for being flexible with me today, as it is my son's last day of school. Want to be there for his pickup time. It's very important to have that kind of balance in life. And I'm so glad that you were able to bring so many fantastic questions today. And I look forward to seeing you back here next week. And for those of you that I'll be chatting with soon, wanting to work more closely together, or just have a chance to do your Career Growth Accelerator scorecard with me and learn where your growth gaps are coming from, let's chat. And I will see you on the next one. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.